So it's been about 20 minutes and we're getting a good shape here. I'm just adding a bit more and I've just switched over to holding 2 needles together because it's quick, and if you go in a downwards action that will help you to get that shape as we're adding a bit more. Just keep going around here like this. And it is getting firmer, although it's still really squishy. Come down here. Have a little look. So at the moment she's very heavy over that way. There's more here than there is there. I'm just pushing the wire back a bit to get, moulding it a bit to get the shape slightly different. So it's a bit more central. And just working down. I don't mind if there's a little bit more at the back if we need to do that, because that's where most of the wire is. That's okay. It could be long flowing. Sometimes I think it's just like good to let the felt have its way a little bit. I don't make huge plans when I'm doing my own creations. They kind of evolve. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it tends to work for me. Can be influenced by things other people have done. Everybody is influenced by things other people have done. It's how creativity grows, I think. So when we do add a colour to this, there'll be a whole load more of felting, and this wall will get felted a bit more, so you kind of can decide how far you want to go with how stiff you want to make this. Let's have a little look. So you could choose to put enough base on that you can't see the wire at all if you want to. Obviously if you were doing this to sell, you would probably want to cover this wire, but I'm not too worried about having the wire. I find that I tend to make things a bit big. So if I put a big chunk on here, I'm going to make this really big. So we'll see. We shall see. Right, I think it's getting a bit better shape now. Like we said, this could be a bit thinner actually. I think maybe it's a little too wide. So you can buy tools to hold 2 or 3 needles together, but sometimes in your hand it just feels nice to hold it yourself. Okay, bend it a bit more. Okay, I think I'm actually reasonably quite happy with that. Still going that way, isn't it? She still wants to go that way, so let's drop that and go to 1 needle, and let's get this in. And be a bit careful because of the wire. We need to get this in a lot more. So it's much thinner. So I'm thinking the dress is coming to about here, and the body and the head. So let's do a bit of a, if you can see what I'm doing, let's go, stabbing myself, let's go around here to just give that, so I've got a bit of an idea about where I'm stopping to with the dress, because then you could spend a lot of time like making that more gradual if you want to. So see, it doesn't take a lot to put a bit of definition in there, so I can see where I'm going with this. It's like we're making a dolly, but there's no sewing involved. There's no measuring. The wire was the hardest bit, and you could definitely do it without wire, but she wouldn't stand up. But you might want your fairy to fly anyway. But then she would probably have to have her legs on show. We're not doing legs with this one. Okay. I'm relatively happy with that. So now let's start head, move her out of the way. I'm gonna roll this up a bit bigger than that. Roll it up. If you make your head too small, that's okay, add some more wool, make it bigger. If you make it too big, you could stab and stab and stab it. But I would suggest to just put that piece aside, and I'm sure you'll find a use for it another day and start again. I've got loads of old bits where I've started something and then changed my mind, or I made one ear too big, and the time it takes to try and make it smaller, sometimes it's just better to start again. So for making a ball, we're just going around, but because this is so sticking out, so much wool here, I'm just going to concentrate on this a minute. So when you're attaching some wool, so the head for instance, we're going to leave a loose bit here to help us to attach the head. I'm not going to focus on that side too much. But this bit I am going to try and go around. So making like a ball round shape, you just constantly go around. If you spend too much time in one area, that will get flat. So you just keep moving. Oops, try not to stab yourself. Just keep going around. And this might be too small. So I don't want a round ball because heads aren't exactly round. It's more like an oval, isn't it? I'm going to be quite tough there. That'll be the neck down here. Over to this side. All the time, moving it a bit. So we've got like a bit of a line here. So we need to get rid of this. But we are going to be adding hair. So we won't see one side of this hugely well. So if one side's a bit flat, this is not completely flat, you might not notice it so much with the hair. Down, putting that neck in, and then I'm just going to bring her back and just see if I got my proportions right. That's not too bad. I mean, you know, you could do an overly big head if you wanted, or an overly small one. It's a bit of like practice, trial and error. You could get like a Barbie or something, to use that as a size guide if you wanted to, I suppose, or some sort of a doll. If you need a visual aid, then there's nothing wrong with getting a doll, like I said, and trying to make your proportions the same as that. Barbies have like a really small head, don't they? Okay. So this is not a quick project. We're not going to make a doll quickly. And I actually really wanted to stop and enjoy the process, thinking about what hair's going to look like, what detail I'm going to put on a dress, what colours she should be. Doesn't have to be something you rush. Now it's rainy today, not very spring-like at all really. Okay, how are we doing? Now, I'm not going to give her a face, I don't think, or any features like eyes or anything. Let's round her a little bit more. I hope you can see this process okay. It always amazes me what you can create with wool, how you can manipulate it to do what you want. Okay, it's very flat there, aren't we? Let's unflatten that a bit. Just go around the edge a bit. It's obviously going to be harder to work on the head once it's attached. What I'm going to do is lay her down and start attaching this. Take this off so you can see. Luckily, this does combine really, really well. So that you'd never know, eventually you'll never know it was two separate pieces. Kind of re-angle her a bit. A bit more gentle. The needle is going in quite far. Come around here. So I'm going to take a bit of wool and cover this up. Now, do watch other people's videos to see if you prefer the way they do it, because mine's a bit trial and error, but I'll make it work in the end. I think that you should do that a bit too. You should just try things out. Like, it's only, this is probably like 30 pence, 50 pence worth of wool and a little bit of florist wire, which are a couple of quid. No, that's probably like 20p's worth of florist wire. And all the time, squeeze that wire in a bit, all the time this is soft like this, it's much easier to add things to it. Once you get it really stiff, it then becomes a bit harder. I'm managing to avoid hitting the wire. Luck, maybe. Okay. So you can always try and just make one, you know, I could have just taken this higher and then tried to like carve the head out. Whatever works for you, really. This is gonna get it attached well. I need to go back to needles. For quickness. I've got this idea that she's going to have like a bit of a collar or something on, although then you won't see that with long hair, so we'll see. Maybe a dress will just come quite high. And remember, this is going to be covered, so we've still got more chance to cover this wire, if you can see it poking through. Squeeze it in a bit more if I want to. Right, we need to get the shape back in the head now, don't we? It looks like one part. Go back to one needle. This is like a bit of a shoulder. We'll go around. To give her a bit of a neck. Just by going round again. So I hope if you're having a go at this yourself, you're keeping up with me, or you're able to pause, or you might be faster than me. It's okay, doesn't matter. That's why I love YouTube so much, because we can pause. Okay. Just feeling for that wire again. Now remember, we're not going to see this back piece. If you are going to do something where you will see this back piece, then you will have to put more effort into making that covered. But we're not going to see the back piece because she's going to have hair. So I just need to make her look like she's got a bit of a neck. Hair's going to come down in front of this. She's going to have long hair. Nice long hair. I'm not going to put her arms in yet either, because they're going to be whatever colour I choose. Okay. How do I feel about that? Yeah, I'm not too sad about that. Could keep going for a bit. Really get some definition if you want to. That's quite stiff now. Okay, let's just stand her up. Is her tummy a bit long? No, I think it's going to be okay. What I'm going to do don't know if you can see, I just feel like this side's a bit lower and could spend a bit of time trying to even it out, but I'm just going to add some more wool because it's quicker. Well, I don't know if it's quicker actually, but it's just what I'm going to do. So I'm just focusing it on this side. How cool is that, that if something's not right, there's no cutting, no sewing, just add a bit more wool. If the head's wonky, just add a bit more wool. Perfect as that. Okay, now the bulk of it is done, like the biggest bit, the skirt. I'm relatively happy with it. Let's get two needles a second. How tightly felted you want this is up to you. I get a bit fed up sometimes and don't felt it enough, and then when I go to add my detail I regret it and end up spending more time trying to felt it right. So you've got to make that decision yourself. She could be, if you've got like merino wool, she could be quite flowing, and then you might actually not want it too deep. You might not want to put detail on the skirt. I did toy with like a rainbow, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do a rainbow. It might be too much, too difficult. Not sure if I'm feeling brave enough for a rainbow. We'll see. Let's have a look. How's she looking? Look from the bottom. That is a bit close, that wire there, isn't it? I think we might add a little bit more. This is ever so soft here, ever so loose. Because of the wire, she can stand up okay, but just going round. It's very like visual, you do it by your eye. I want to add some more, and it feels a bit lost there. Let's put a tiny bit here. Feels like there's a bit of a gap. Really does need a lot more felting in a perfect world. I'm guessing I will get better with wire over time. Do I think that pipe cleaners would make it stand up? Yeah, maybe with this amount of felt, maybe we could have got away with just, let's get some pipe cleaners. I've got a load. Let's just see if I can make it. Let's do the same thing. So I've made my circle and I'm twisting. See, I think they would work. I think it probably is possible. You might need to use like more, but that's going to be much easier to wrap than the main wire. Yeah, next time I'll make one, I'll try it using these and we'll see if that makes a difference. So we just got to get this one a bit more. I sort of feel like at the bottom there's not enough and it's way too loose, but the more I push in, the more I felt it, the more it's gone really dark here. I'm going to just put the light on a second because it's so dark. Oops, sorry. There we go. Okay. Now you've got the shadow, haven't you? Right, let's try it without the light. Try a different light. That's better. Right. I'm just going to put a bit more wool down here, just so that the bottom of this is not too, because I think my detail will be on the bottom quite a bit. We're just going to add some. But not too much, because I don't want her to get really, really tall. So if you were making this with wire and pipe cleaners, probably wouldn't want to let children play with it too much or touch it. The needle fountain is not really, it's not a toy, but some of the things are so cute. I can see why kids want to touch it. See why adults want to touch it too. And now it's raining. We knew that was coming. Okay, right, I'm going to stop there, I think. Could keep going if I want to make it more, felt it a bit more if I want to, but you've got what you've got there is your basic shape to your fairy, but it's going to be all the detail we put on that make it really amazing. So come back and join me another day and we will add some detail to her. Okay, thank you, take care, bye.